Raiders off the wall to bring the Giants home a winner in a wild 10th inning. The Astros picking up a couple of runs with the game tied at 1 in the top of the 10th. The Giants getting out of that, and then the Giants making things happen in the bottom of the 10th, from Brett Wisley to Elliot Ramos to Patrick Bailey. Michael Conforto with a single off the pitcher that probably would have been a double play and completely changed the inning. It was all set up for Jorge Soler to maybe be the hero tonight, but Soler ends up bouncing into the force-out first to home, swinging at a bad pitch, and you're thinking, uh-oh, now it's set up for Slater. And Slater and Soler in many ways have been among the most maligned. I think Soler for sure, but Slater also right there among the maligned Giants players, at least from the fan base this season. But Soler, then he couldn't get it done, but Slater, he didn't waste any time. He gets the job done, bangs one off the wall that looked like it was maybe going out for a game-winning grand slam, and the Giants turned what would have been a real frustrating night into one of the more thrilling victories of their 2024 season. So 4-3 the final, back home with a win. All of a sudden it's 4 of the last 5 in the win column after the 6-game losing streak. They dropped the first 2 in Arizona. They win the finale. Then they go to Texas, win a couple of games there, drop the series finale to the Rangers, but come right back home and keep the mojo going. So it's going to be that kind of season. I know I've talked about it a lot here over the last couple of weeks on these Sports Phone KNBR shows, just the fact that you better be in for the roller coaster for the Giants this year, because just as we said, they'll probably win a handful of games after they had dropped 6 in a row. There's probably going to be another stretch coming at some point where they struggle, and all year really it's been, win a couple, lose 4, win 1, lose a few more, get on a 10-2 hot streak, then lose 6 in a row. Now it's 4 of the last 5 in the win column for San Francisco, as they'll go out against the Astros again tomorrow and on Wednesday afternoon here at Oracle Park. 808 KNBR is the number to join the conversation. 808 KNBR 415-808-5627. You can give me a call or shoot me a text here as the Golden State Lumber and Building Materials text line is open. And we'll get your calls and your texts. A lot of heroes for the Giants in this one, in a game that I think flat out was Kyle Harrison's best start of the season, pitching into the 7th inning. A lot of contact for the Astros in this one, but not a lot of hard contact. And Harrison striking out 3, allowing just the 4 hits, no walks, big, and keeping an eye on Harrison's pitch count throughout the early part of this game, and then on into the middle innings. You're thinking he's going to get 6. He's going to get into the 7th, and then in the 7th, after the Giants had staked him to that 1-0 lead with the run there in the bottom of the 6th inning, and Yaz bringing in Soler with the triple to the 415 corner, basically 406 I think was the official tally, a ball that would have been a home run in 29 out of the 30 parks. Only here at Oracle Park is that not a home run. And so 1-0 Giants there, and you're thinking, wow, Harrison has the potential to make this a special night, pitching deep into the 7th, and then the Astros get on him a little bit. Alvarez led off the 7th with that triple. He stretched it out late. Casey Schmidt dropping the ball on the tag there at the end of the replay, or the end of the relay rather, and then Pena with the sac fly, and it's 1-1 there, and you're thinking, this has the potential maybe to be one of the more frustrating losses for the Giants this season, especially as they go down a couple of runs in extras. It's 3-1. But again, just a wild 10th inning. And the one thing we know about the 2024 Giants is we continue to learn more and more about the 2024 Giants. They really aren't ever out of a game, even though sometimes it does feel as if they're out of a game, because at least in this park, they haven't hit the long ball a lot. Haven't overall, but more on the road than they have at home. But they have been able to come up with some late inning magic in some games, and the ability to steal some games that look like they have the potential to be some real gut punch losses. Now, they've had some games they thought were in hand with leads like the Astros had in the bottom of the 10th inning that have gotten away from them on probably more occasions than they would like, and certainly Giants fans would like. But I think to this point, the ability to come back and never be out of a game has been something that's been more prolific than the losses, as much as there have been some bad losses, as I mentioned, as far as that goes. So 808 KNBR, the number 415-808-5627. Let's get right to the phones here tonight on Sports Phone KNBR from the bunker at Oracle Park, and we'll get it rolling with Jeff in San Francisco here on the Sports Leader. Hey, Jeff, good evening to you. Good Monday night at the Yard. A lot of excitement with the 10th inning and the Giants coming up with 3 to send everybody home happy.
Hey, yeah, what's up, man? I'm actually driving home from the game right now in Richmond, where I live. My birthday tonight, went to the game with some fans, and I got to tell you, I was, devastated at the wasted game as the top of the 10th was happening. And then I was so ecstatic when Soler had a chance to, finally have a moment for us. And happy that we won, but I'm just man, can Soler catch a break here? I'm rooting for him. I'm starting to get a little worried about his mental health. What do you think?
Well, it was all set up for him, and happy birthday to you, Jeff. But it was all set up for him to be the hero. It was funny how things ended up working out. You had 2 guys who've been as maligned as anybody, but really Soler, because part of Slater's issue had been that he was injured, and obviously the young outfielders had come up, the right-handed hitting outfielders, Ramos and Matos for a time, had both played well. But, yeah, Soler's the guy who is going to be out there every single day, and he's just wearing it. Yep. He's swinging at bad pitches, and you're thinking nobody out, bases loaded. I'm thinking at that point, pitcher that can at times struggle to throw strikes, I'm thinking, hey, this is as tailor-made for him as it could be. And then he swings at just a brutal 2-1 pitch way off the outside, hits the little tapper to first base. And I'm thinking, man, if he can't take advantage of that situation when he probably could have, there was a decent chance he was going to draw a walk to end the game.
Yeah.
And he just was so eager. And I think the thing that's been, he means so well, and he wants to do so well, and he wants to live up to the contract and help this team win. This is a guy who's been a champion, a couple of different times, but, coming here, it's just been a different story, Jeff. And so, yeah, you felt for Soler not getting it done, but then Austin Slater's been pretty maligned himself, and he didn't waste any time and did get the job done.
Yeah. And I'll just say, we were on the first base side, and Soler, before Slater got the hit, Soler was standing at first base, and you could just tell, man, he was oh, dude, that was it. That was my signature moment. And anyway, they got it done. Thanks for taking my call.
Yep, thanks, Jeff. Happy birthday to you, man. Glad you enjoyed it. I mean, this game in many ways is indicative of the Giants' season to this point. It's just been a roller coaster ride, and there's been times where you think, oh my God, this team's among the worst in baseball, and they're not. And then they get hot, and they make you think, could this team maybe get on a real run in the other direction? And look, there's still plenty of time, over half the season to go, to where they can potentially get on that kind of a run. But when you've thought that they're about to maybe get on a little bit of a run, then they go back into a losing streak, and all of the injuries, and they're piecemealing the starting rotation together right now in 2 of the 5 slots. But tonight is a kind of night with Kyle Harrison that shows you the pitcher that he can be at the high end. And again, I think the biggest overarching takeaway from tonight is that this team continues to show that they're never out of games, even when they're down multiple runs late. And again, when you start the 9th inning with a 2-run deficit, or I'm sorry, the extra inning, the bottom of the 10th with the 2-run deficit, and you get that runner on second, and I know the guys were talking about this on the postgame wrap. I think you tying run at the plate, you still feel like you're in it, which I think is part of the charm, really. I know a lot of people love and hate the new extra innings, but you feel like there's action, and you still got a shot even though you're down 2, and Wisley immediately singles in Casey Schmidt, the automatic runner, and then it's like, all right, it's like runner on first, tying run aboard. Nobody's been hotter than Elliot Ramos coming to the plate, and it's a 3-2 game. So it's been a lot of excitement, but the Giants have been able to ride that way. And teams that do that, teams that come back as often as the Giants have come back, that bodes well in my mind, because teams that do that typically continue to do it throughout the season. And if a few other things come together, that's how you're able to get some big-time, momentum shifting wins that can get you on a run to where maybe you separate from the pack as your pitching gets healthier and your batting order gets deeper because other players are coming back into the fold, and you figure out who your best 26 is. I think the Giants are still in the process with injuries and everything else, young players coming up, trying to fix the right guys in their bullpen and find the right 26 on this roster. So they are very much a work in progress. But as we've discussed so many different times, they aren't getting buried and hanging around even still at 1 under 500 after the win to get to 33 and 34. We'll see if they can't even it right back up here tomorrow at Oracle Park. Damon is next here on the Sports Leader. 808 KNBR. Hey, Damon, welcome into Sports Phone here on a Monday night.
I'm just driving home from the game. And while I might have been the only person with a Brett Wisley jersey in the entire stadium, I was very impressed with his performance tonight. 2 for 5 at the plate, big hit in the 10th. And even more important, maybe, he was consistent with the glove all night. Switching from second to short, I'm sure isn't the easiest thing. I'm wondering if you think Wisley can be a permanent solution for us. It'd be nice to have Ahmed back to face lefties. But do you think the Giants at the trade deadline should be looking for shortstops, or can we kind of consistently rely on Wisley?
I think they should be looking for shortstops. It's no slight against Wisley, who has really put a nice hold just by being solid defensively, and he can hit. I mean, the Giants, I think, have always believed that he could hit a little bit and be somebody that can move around and play different positions. He's played shortstop really well. I mean, for the time being, it's him as far as I'm concerned, especially going up against right-handers. But I think you could use him at second base some and at shortstop some. I mean, Tyro Estrada hasn't exactly been having a great year, so I think you could pepper him in there from time to time. I think you can pepper him in at shortstop for the time being. But no, I think ultimately if the Giants want to be a team that gets on a run, they do have to be scouring the market because, again, no offense to Wisley, but he's somebody that hasn't proven that he can be a hitter for a full season at the big league level, nor has he proven he can be a shortstop, and nobody would have been asking him to be a shortstop at the big league level, to the tune that he's had to be here lately. But he has been, in his own way, a big-time savior, Damon, for this team, and I think you're going to start seeing a few more Wisley jerseys if he keeps playing the way that he's playing.
I would really love that more than anything, to see some more Wisley jerseys in the stadium. Thank you for taking my call.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
Appreciate it. He's a good player. He can be he can help you. He can be part of your 26. I don't know yet if he's an everyday starter and the like, but he's the best option that they have right now, and he's done it. And yeah, steady with the glove as well is pretty big time. 808 KNBR 415-808-5627. It is John Dickinson here in the bunker at Oracle Park on a Monday night. Giants 4-3 winners in 10 innings over the Houston Astros. A wild 3-run rally for San Francisco in the bottom of the 10th inning after allowing a couple of runs in the top half to go down 3-1. Jacob is next here on Sports Phone. Hey, Jacob.
Hey, John, good evening, man. Hey, I want to thank you for your show. You have such a reasonable and level-headed takes, man, so I really appreciate that out of a radio broadcaster.
Thank you very much. As long as you don't think they're boring, because sometimes, you get... Sometimes you get that and you go, wait a minute, am I a little boring? Come on, can't have that.
No, not at all, man. You bring good discussion without these whack takes that I hear sometimes, so I really appreciate it, man. And a couple things. I'm a relatively new baseball fan, and Giants have just adopted me since I've lived out here in the Bay Area. I'm driving home to Santa Rosa, and I had a hard stop tonight at like 9:20. I needed to leave the stadium, and so I always have been bringing my radio to the games, listening in. So I was listening to the game out, and I'm going, oh, okay, it's one of those disappointing games again. You know, the Astros are getting a couple runs on us. And then as I'm, like, about to hit the garage where I parked at, they're like, I knew it was going to happen, too. I had this gut feeling that, like, I might as well just text my work that I'm going to be a little late, because what if we have, like, a generational win right now? And of course we do, you know. And so I have yet to witness that in person. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm going to have to go back for a few more games this season. And then this was my first time seeing Kyle Harrison, and boy, that kid can rip it, dude. He was ripping it all night. It was really cool to see.
Yeah, he was awesome. I mean, I think best outing of the season for Kyle Harrison, and, you know, at a time where he, I think, needed a good outing. I don't know that he needed the best outing of his season, but it's been a little up and down over the last handful of starts here for him. The one thing that he's had all year, though, the Giants win his starts, which I'm a big believer in that. You know, when teams win a certain pitcher starts, I think that tells you he's doing something right. And the Giants have won Harrison starts at a very high level. I'm looking at my notes here to make sure I've got the right number. With tonight, it's now 10-4 in 14 starts that they've won. So they've actually been better in his starts than any other of the starters that they've had here. So it tells you that even though he hasn't always pitched great, he's at least kept them in the game, and for whatever reason, the team keeps fighting when he's out there. Now, some of that's obviously coincidence, but I think it tells you that maybe he's pitched a little bit better than the numbers in some of these outings where the Giants have been able to get him off the hook, but also feel good at the end of the night when he's on the mound.
He's putting in the work. I hope we keep him around. He's awesome.
Absolutely, no doubt. I mean, he's a keeper, and he's so young, and I don't think Kyle Harrison's going anywhere. Jacob, thank you very much. Appreciate the call tonight. 808 KNBR is the number, 415-808-5627 as the Giants get the win. Are you in for the roller coaster ride? I know I ranted about it. I think it was last Tuesday as the Giants dropped their sixth consecutive game. They took the L in Arizona on the Pavin Smith walk-off homer, and we talked about it, and the Giants had dropped 6 in a row, and I kind of ranted about, I don't know that I can do this all year, where it's a couple of games under and then a few games over, and then they're even, and then they're 2 under, and then they're 1 over, and then they're 4 under, and then it's back to, despite the fact that level of play is going to keep in the race. I'm just kind of curious how Giants fans think about this thing, sort of big picture, in terms of the team that they have, 33-34, been a lot of injuries, been some disappointing performances from some of the players that have been brought in to carry a big part of the load. But the one thing that this team has shown that they will continue to do is fight and scratch and claw and find ways to grab victories when it looks like it's going to be a disappointing night. And so, are you in for this if it's going to be this within three games of 500, basically all year, with a winning streak here and a losing streak here and a 2 out of 3 there and a 4 out of 6 there? More nights like tonight, I think people are going to be continuing to be on board with it. But it's been kind of a wild beginning here as we get closer to almost the halfway point as far as this season is gone. Let's go to John next here on the Sports Leader. John, are you in the Hamptons?
I am. Yeah. How's it going, JD? How you doing?
What's going on, man? You're living, brother.
I am. Yeah. I guess so. Yeah. But these late games are tough. It's 1:30 here in the morning, so it's tough. But this game, I think you nailed it as far as saying, like, this is indicative of the Giants season. We're all hyped right now. That was a great win. I'm happy for Austin Slater. Harrison's dealing. It's so great to see him just be, like, such a mature pitcher, and really one of the pitchers that we can see, like, come to the mound every 5 days and be confident that he's going to give us his best. But, like, where I'm at is just, like, Conforto into Soler. You know, this should have been a double play for Conforto. Soler, it's like, come on, you had it on a tee to do something for us. No outs, bases loaded. Like, we want to see something, and it couldn't have been teed up any better for him. And happy for Slater. But, Slater, there's talk, like, is he blocking the young guys from coming up? And, like, I was, texting my buddies after this game. It's like, yes, we won. And I don't want to be a hater right now, but I'm kind of being a hater. It's like, okay, Slater, great job. You haven't produced how you've wanted to, or how the back of your baseball card has said the last few years against lefties. But, you're kind of blocking some young guys from coming up that we're excited about. And this game, it's like, we won, but are we going to get over the hump? We're 33-34. Like, is this a game that really makes us feel good about where we're going? Or it's like, hey, the guys that we're paying big didn't show up. We lucked out. Brett Wisley, great. It was awesome to see Brett Wisley get that base hit, just ripped one up the middle. Like, that was amazing. But I'm feeling conflicted about this game, and I just want to know, like, how you're feeling.
Yeah, I would celebrate it tonight because every win you can get, I think, is huge. And look, I think you could make a case in some ways for each disappointing player, and we can run through the names, and you mentioned some of them, that there is somebody else that maybe unexpectedly has been able to be a contributor. Ramos was not thought – he was one of the first guys sent to the minor league camp going back to spring training. Like, Elliot Ramos was thought – that he wasn't necessarily going to be a big part of things unless he went down and hit in the minors, and maybe some guys got hurt that gave him an opportunity. And he's been their best hitter here of late for the last couple of weeks, and maybe one of their most productive hitters on the team this season, period. And so, for a Soler that maybe has been disappointing, you've got an Elliot Ramos. For, somebody else, you've got a Brett Wisley, right? For a Jung Hoo Lee injury, maybe you got a Brett Wisley. I know it's not position for position there, but I do think, it doesn't matter how you get it done as long as you get it done. Now, I understand what you're saying as far as maybe sustainability and all of that, but I think any win right now is a good win. And I think, between now and, say, the trade deadline, I think they'll be able to figure out pretty much what their best 26 is. And then you make trades, and if somebody really pushes the envelope, like, to me, they were fortunate that the timing of Slater's return coincided with the fact that Matos happened to be in a 2 for 21 or whatever the heck it was. And so it's like, all right, you send him down, you give Slater a shot. If Matos goes down and he's hot and Slater struggles again, well, then Matos is going to be back, or if there is an injury, and then we'll see if he sticks at that point. So, no, I think wins should be celebrated, man, with this team, and especially where it leads them in the standings. Because, I mean, right now, the Giants are in sole possession, and it's kind of crazy to say, of the third wild card. The Giants would be the third wild card right now by themselves if the season ended today, and I don't think they've played anywhere close to their best baseball or the level that was expected of them. So I don't know, John. I think it's all in all a positive. When this team doesn't play well and they get on a losing streak, I think you could make the case, all right, they don't have it, but they also haven't been buried in terms of the standings, and I think you have to factor that in too.
Yeah, you're totally right. And, like, let's get the back half of our rotation in here and see how we start to groove. And I will say I was holding my breath after Ramos took one off the shin off Soler, and I was like, really? Did Soler, like, rip one into our best player right now? And that was scary for a second, but thank God he's okay. And I think, feeling conflicted about this game, but feeling positive about the staff. And I think one of the biggest positive things that came from this game was Melvin sent Wilmer Flores out there in the bottom of the ninth. I was like, I do not want to see Trent Brooks right now. And, yeah.
Well,
thank God Melvin is being a manager, because that was very reassuring.
Well, that's the reason why. And a lot of people are like, why is Flores not starting? Why is he not just out there starting? Well, you're setting up that moment, right, to get Wilmer Flores that at bat and that situation, and so they had him ready to roll. I also think they're trying to keep Wilmer fresh. I think that's been part of it. Like they want him playing enough to where he can hopefully get in a rhythm, especially with Wade out. But I also don't think they want to maybe burn him out physically, as a guy that's getting a little bit older by having him out there every single day. And I think they're trying to protect their defense a little bit with Trenton Brooks, as much as he hasn't been much of a hitter. But yeah, let's see what happens with Snell. Let's see if Ramos continues to prove that he's an everyday player, and then they can figure out what they're going to do at shortstop, because I think the one thing that Wisley has shown, he may not be an everyday 162-game bona fide starter, but I think he's definitely proven himself to be somebody that can be a guy who steps in an injury spot, a guy who can play multiple positions and be a utility. And in today's major leagues, you need those guys, and they're extremely valuable. And he's got a little moxie to him, and hits the ball hard, and he's played a solid shortstop. So he's been a good, a nice bright spot for this team to this point. Thanks, John.
Most definitely.
Appreciate it, man. Bye. Enjoy your evening. All right, 808 KNBR, the number, 415-808-5627. John Dickinson here in the bunker at Oracle Park as the Giants rally. They win 4-3 over the Houston Astros. From the Hamptons, we go to Hawaii. Hank and Kona. Hank, you're living well, my friend. We got our buddy in the Hamptons, and you're out on Kona. What's going on? What's going on?
Yeah, man. Well, life is good here. Actually, right now, right before you put me on, I turned my head and looked over at the sunset, and I've got a black silhouette of trees in the foreground with a nice orange band behind it. And, it's working.
I love it. I got to get back. I went out that way in 2018, and just talking to the girlfriend about what are we going to do? Got some time off coming. Maybe I'll come and visit you, Hank, here in the next month or so.
Come over and take one of my brewery tours at Kona Brewing Company.
Oh, I'm in. You're speaking my language, Hank.
Yeah. One of the reasons I called, I was listening to the game on the MLB At Bat app, and the audio just kept going and going, and it rolled into your show. It doesn't always do that. Usually they cut it off right at the end. But the last week or so, it's been rolling into the KNBR shows. So I got to listen, but then it cut off, and I thought, well, I got to call so I can hear more. But I also wanted to say that I'm super stoked about how they're playing, come from behind victories and stuff. I can't help but still be cautiously optimistic that this roller coaster isn't going to end up crashing. And I hope it turns into a kiddie coaster that's nice and steady, but really good.
Yeah, look, all you can do is let it play out. And again, I think this team's shown that they have a little bit of magic in some ways, Hank, but then they've also shown that, why at times they haven't been a good club. So, again, the way that things are structured now with the 3 wild cards and everything, I mean, I say this every show that I'm on, MLB really does. They built it this way to where they want 500 teams to feel like they're in the race. And so the Giants are one of those teams, and usually one of them, one of the teams that's in this group where the Giants are, with the Padres and Cubs and Reds and Cardinals and Pirates and Diamondbacks, Washington, like all of these teams between 35, all of them 33, 34, 35 losses right now. Yeah. Usually one of them will get hot and take one of the spots, and then you've still got a group of 4 or 5 teams that'll probably be battling for the other one. So you can call it mediocrity. I think Major League Baseball, though, likes having a lot of different cities and fan bases having their teams in it. And Giants are going to be one of those teams. That I'm sure of. They're going to be in the mix all the way down to the end.
It's still super early.
It is. It's getting a little later. But it's still, I mean, we're not even halfway through.
It's still pretty early. Anything can happen from here.
Absolutely.
But I remain cautiously optimistic.
I think you're a smart man, Hank. Hank, have a great night. Appreciate you. And I'll make sure to
call, John.
Appreciate it, my man. 808 KNBR. Make sure I come check out Hank and Kona. Absolutely. That might be in the future here. 808 KNBR. Mike in San Francisco on the Sports Leader as we keep it rolling here into the night, following the Giants' victory over the Houston Astros. Hey, Mike.
Hey, JD. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing well, man. That was a thrilling game. That was a great baseball game. Wasn't always pretty. I mean, you got to give a nod to Mike Yastrzemski, by the way. The triple to bring in Soler that would have been a home run in every other park, and the diving catch as well there in the top of the 8th inning on the smash by Singleton. Nice game for Yastrzemski. He's another one of the guys that you put in the much maligned category. But what do you got for me, Mike?
Tonight, I just want to preface this by saying all we got to do is get in the dance. But what a romantic night of baseball. There's just some things about some players that I wanted to talk about, like Brett Wisley and the way he surprises you attacking the first pitch and, just drilling base hits to center field up the middle, and Patrick Bailey, the way he's just got that, he's going to get a hit, fletchness to him, and Wilmer Flores, when you see him throw east-west on him and he's rolling, you can't get him out. And Camilo Duvall getting the slider going again tonight. That thing must have dropped 2 feet off the planet. It was great, and I think Ryan Walker, if they have relievers in all-star games that aren't closers, man, he's been magic this year. If I had a question for you tonight,
sure.
Was that the funniest, most heartwarming call of the season you heard from Dwayne Kuiper this evening?
Which call? Which play?
End of the game.
End of the game. Okay. Well, see, he was on TV end of the game. I didn't hear Kipe's call on TV at the end of the game.
Off the wall. He waited until
I heard him joking about it on the wrap, but I heard the radio call tonight, but I didn't. I was at the park, so I didn't see I saw the TV feed, but I didn't hear the TV call tonight.
Gotcha. So he's saying, and it's out. Gonna say, and it's out of here. And the ball dies, but he waits till Slater gets around third base and takes his hat off, and he says, "Off the wall!" Just pure madness. What a crazy game! What a bright moment for sunshine there. And I gotta say, I gotta pay the piper on this one. Slater was a guy in 2021 I thought was going to hit 20 home runs, and he hit 12, and he played great. But I, for some reason, I put him at the back of my playing deck that year, and I was happy to see the smile on his face tonight. That's about it.
Appreciate the call, my man. Thanks a lot. 808 KNBR, Mike's line open for you. 415-808-5627. It is John Dickinson here in the bunker at Oracle Park. It was chaos tonight. It was chaos on the final call. It was chaos in the bottom of the 10th. I mean, it was action everywhere. Eric Miller with the top of the 10th and the automatic runner, and they're laying down bunts and beating them out. And a hell of an at-bat by the Astros catcher, Caratini, to lead eventually to a sac fly on a hanging slider by Miller. And then, Estrada couldn't pick the throw on the stolen base. Altuve bunts for a hit, and then Bregman singled in the run to make it 3-1. And you're thinking, oh, man, this is going to be one of those momentum-busting losses where you're going to look back at the missed opportunities and you're going to look back at the inability to hit. I mean, the Giants were in line with the Astros at 3-1. How about this note? How about this one? If the Astros had only won, and they didn't end up winning the game tonight, but the Astros would have won for only the 4th time in 32 2 games when scoring 3 or fewer runs. The Giants ended up getting to 4, which has been a magic number for them. And the Astros have also been really bad in 1-run games. And the Giants ended up making it a 1-run game. They win it. Astros now 5-14 in 1-run games. The Giants improved to 25-10 when they score 4 or more. 4 or more is kind of the magic number across baseball. It is for the Astros as well as the Giants. But they end up getting to 4. The Astros ended up on 3. And that's been really the template for both wins and losses for each of these teams respectively here during the course of this 2023 or 24 season, where now the Astros fall to 30-37. The Giants improve to 33-34. All right, 808 KNBR. Ryan is next here in the East Bay on the Sports Leader. Hey, Ryan.
Hey, how's it going?
I'm doing well tonight, my man. There's so much to get into about this game. It was a wild night.
Yeah, great Monday. I mean, Oracle Park was super full for a Monday from what I've seen.
Yeah, 32,000. And you know what it was, Ryan? It was a lively 32,000. They were into the game, pitchers duel. They were vibing off of Kyle Harrison pitching well. They were vibing off of good defense. And even when the game got into the late innings and went extras and it was 1-1, there was a feeling that the crowd thought tonight that the Giants could still maybe come back and win the game even down 3-1 in the 10th. It was a good vibe Monday night for the 32,000. It was a 32,000 that felt like about 45,000. At least sounded like about 45,000 at different times.
Yeah, it was awesome. Luckily, it was my first game. I was able to come out for the season 0-5 on games last season. So being able to come out, get a win to start the season, see Kyle Harrison too, like see what he's come up to. Lucky enough to play against him in high school baseball out in the East Bay. So to see him come out of high school, come to the Giants, like hometown, is awesome to see, and him kind of growing into his own and becoming a really good pitcher for us.
Yeah, he was fantastic tonight, and again, he's needed it. I mean, I think some have been a little down on Kyle Harrison of late. I haven't been, to be honest. I think he's been pretty good for the most part all year, but just kind of looking back at the most recent starts for him, 3 earned in 6 at Arizona. He gave up 4 and 5 against the Phillies. I mean, there's been some more hittable outings for Harrison going back through these last handful of starts. So I think people have been a little bit concerned, but he's got to take the baseball, and because it's only him and Jordan Hicks, who's pitching tomorrow, and Logan Webb, who's pitching on Wednesday right now, to keep this thing moving with the 2 days where they're going with the bullpen games and or some pretty inexperienced starters. So his ability to take the ball, get into the 7th, and even though he didn't get the shutdown inning there in the 7th, and Alvarez got him and ended up tying the game, I still think this goes down as the best outing for Kyle Harrison this season.
Yeah, he's been great. It's been, I think, a little up and down like the whole season, but to go out there and get a win today, it seems like we're heading in the right direction.
He doesn't, he doesn't ever really get blown up in games. That's the one thing. He will give up his 3. I'm kind of looking through the game logs. There's a lot of 3s and a lot of 4s, and obviously if you're only going 5 innings and you're giving up 4, that's not a good outing. But he never totally gets. There's a lot of 3 and 6s, 3 and 6, 4 and 5s. There's a lot of those where I do think it goes to the point of him being 10 and 4. Or the team being 10 and 4 in his starts. The fact that it's not like he's out there giving up 8, or something like that. I'm just looking at the earned runs. Yeah, he's 4 is the most earned runs that he's given up in any start. So you do that, you're going to give your team a chance to win, even if you are a little bit up and down, and he's done that.
Yeah, I was talking with my family who I went to the game with today, and I don't think didn't seem like there was even a hard hit ball the entire game until Stremski's bomb into Triple's alley that we all thought was going out, but it was, he hit a bomb there.
Yeah, you knew. I mean, you knew he got a hold of it for sure. I mean, that's one where you never know, considering where it was. But it did look like it was definitely headed out, and good at bat. Soler, we talked about him not getting the job done in the 10th. Him drawing the walk, and that was a real good at bat to draw the 2-out walk with nobody on. And then, yes, Yastrzemski hits one out to the 4:15 mark. Home run in every park except Oracle Park. So he got oracled there, but at least I mean, he had the perfect loft and launch angle and everything on that one. But yeah, at least it got down and brought Soler in and gave the Giants the lead at that point.
Yeah, heard it right off the bat. Knew it was going to be special, but.
Ryan, thanks a lot, my man. Have a good night. Good call from Ryan in the East Bay. 808 KNBR. A lot of people enjoying the ball game tonight. It was a good crowd. It was a hearty crowd tonight that was into it and fired up and excited and feeling good. 808 KNBR to join the conversation. We'll get to some text messages on the Golden State Lumber and Building Materials text line here coming up. John Dickinson in the bunker at Oracle Park. Giants 4. Astros 3, so the Giants right back to within a game of 500 at 33-34. Jordan Hicks tomorrow, and then Logan Webb in the series finale coming up on Wednesday before the Giants end up off Thursday, and they got the Angels coming in over the weekend, and that's when they'll get back to trying to piece together that starting rotation. And we'll see if this team can maybe get on another run to help offset the 6-game losing streak, but it's 4 of 5 in the positive direction now here for the Giants. All right, one more here before we pause. Daryl in Grass Valley next on the Sports Leader. Hey, Daryl.
Hey, how's it going?
Doing well tonight. Excited. Good ball game. What's on your mind?
Yeah, I'm just celebrating getting to watch another win for the Giants with my mom turning 80 years old. Getting
awesome.
To surprise her. Yeah, 3-hour drive to get to the game. My older brother and I surprised her sitting in my parents' season ticket seats, and they show up thinking some bozos are sitting in their seats already, and it turns out to be her son. So she already had a win right from the beginning of the game. And so for me to get to watch another Giants win right next to my mom turning 80 tonight was super fun.
Awesome. A lot of birthdays tonight, Daryl. Well, happy birthday to your mom, for sure. That's a great story and a great night. And what a ball game to see on that night. It was. Who says you can't have fun at the ballpark on a Monday, Daryl?
Exactly. And I turned to her as Yaz was up, and I said, sure would be nice if Yaz would hit a 2-run homer for you right now. And sure enough, he hits the rocket into the gap, gets the rally going, gets the team motivated again. So sometimes when you're not going your best, but you keep your level head like Yaz has, good things happen. So some of these veterans that aren't always doing their best, they seem to keep their cool, and they know how to deliver. And so I think if the Giants can really, keep that level head and keep right around 500, I'd love to see what happens around the trade deadline.
Yeah, they're going to be in it enough, Daryl, to where I think they're gonna go for it. And I don't know that necessarily means big major moves, but I do think they're gonna look to be a buyer as much as you can be a buyer when basically every team except for 2 is in the race themselves. That makes it a little bit more difficult to be a buyer. But I think the Giants are definitely, I think Farhan Zaidi knows the importance for his own future to get this team into the tournament and to feel like there's a positive, lasting impression, regardless of whether some of the free agents that were signed have panned out statistically. I think he knows that if he can get this team into the postseason with Bob Melvin, that it will go a long way toward calming down some of the angst that's been surrounding the last couple of years of his tenure. So I think he's going to go for it in every possible way he can, Daryl.
I think so, too.
Appreciate it.
I just want to give a shout-out to all moms that have supported their kids having fun playing baseball and going to games. As a manager of my son's Little League team, and my wife is a team mom, we know we can't do it without the moms. So big shout out to all the moms out there, and just keep going to the games with your kids. It's always going to be fun memories, whether you get the win or the loss. But great win tonight. I'm going to celebrate it.
Absolutely. Thanks, Daryl. Yep. Love the moms. Love all the moms. Hi, Mom. My mom's probably listening out in the Sacramento area. So appreciate it, Mom, if you're listening. All right. Let's go ahead and pause here. We'll come back. We'll get to some texts. We'll get into the YouTube chat potentially a little bit as well, as we've got that fired up here on a Monday. But we do have a couple of lines open. 808 KNBR, are you in for the roller coaster, Giants? Giants fans have been all about the roller coaster, going through the 10 and 12 and 14 and all of that and torture. A little bit of a different kind of roller coaster this year. This team hasn't necessarily proved itself to be as good as those teams. But are you in for hey, you might be a 78-win team, you might be an 82-win team, but if you're an 83-win team, you might get in the playoffs. And the last couple of years, that last team in the National League has made it all the way to the World Series. So if you can get in, you can make noise. Just ask the Diamondbacks last year and the Phillies going back a couple of years ago, who both ended up playing deep into October. All right, we'll pause here. We'll come back. It's John Dickinson in the bunker at Oracle Park. Giants win 4-3 over the Astros. It's KNBR 104.5 and 680, the sports leader.
is Sports Phone KNBR. Dial the digits or send us a text at 415-808-KNBR. We're streaming on YouTube all damn day at KNBR 1045.
The pitch. He lines it to center field. That's going to get down, base hit. Wisley coming to third. Matt Williams will send him. The throw goes toward third. Ramos was caught off the bag, scrambling to get back, and he gets back safely. The Giants have tied the game at 3. The throw from the center fielder, Myers, went toward third. Ramos thought it was coming home. And the Astros are checking with their video room to see if they want to challenge the call at second. They are not going to challenge.
Yeah, no challenge. Dave Fleming on the call. Giants rally, tie it up, get the win 4-3 in 10 innings. As San Francisco improving to 33-34 on the season. It's John Dickinson back here in the bunker at Oracle Park. 808 KNBR, the number to give me a call or shoot me a text here as we get on into the 11 o'clock hour thriller tonight here at the ballpark. As it was Austin Slater for the haters after Jorge Soler could not get the job done in the bottom of the 10th. But again, just a terrific ball game all in all, and one that, again, goes to show that this team's got a little something. I don't know that they're a great team. They certainly haven't proved themselves to be that to this point, but they have been a team that has fought. And when you think maybe it's going to careen in a real bad direction, they're able to get hot, and then sometimes they show you that they're not, at least at this point in this iteration, one of the best teams, in baseball or in the National League, but they're hanging in at this point with an opportunity to solidify things, not only in the starting rotation, but finding the best combination of position players. They got to figure out the shortstop thing. They're going to get Lamont Wade Jr. back at some point. Elliot Ramos has proved himself to be a starting everyday outfielder here for the better part of a month on the calendar, and one of the Giants' best players this season. And then they got to get the Blake Snell back, and we'll see what happens with Robbie Ray and Alex Cobb and all of that moving forward here. But, tonight's another ride on the roller coaster that has been this 2024 season for the San Francisco Giants. Kyle Harrison, best start of the season in my book, as he goes 6 1/3 pitching into the 7th inning, had the 1-0 lead as the Giants were able to grab the lead in the bottom of the 6th. Mike Yastrzemski with the RBI triple to the 4:15 mark in Triples Alley out there where the center field and right field walls meet. And that brings in Jorge Soler, who couldn't get the job done in the 10th with the bases loaded, but it shouldn't go unnoticed, the at-bat that he had, and I mentioned this going back to the prior segment, the at-bat that Soler had in that 6th inning. 2 out, nobody on. Giants had missed some opportunities with runners in scoring position, left a couple of runners on in the 1st, left a couple of runners on in the 3rd, end up leaving another in the 4th, and then go down in order in the 5th against Arrighetti, who to this point had been walking guys this season. Spencer Arrighetti looked like a completely different. He's got an ERA of 5.79, and he's walking guys, and just down go the Giants pretty quietly. But yeah, some missed opportunities, Conforto and Soler with runners in scoring position, and then Estrada and Brooks in the 4th. But nice at bat from Soler to work the walk, and then Yastrzemski's able to bring him in 1-0 there. We talked about the 7th inning. And you got to give Sean Jelly a nod. Gets through that 7th inning to allow the Giants to not have to play from behind at that particular point in time. which I thought was big. And then Ryan Walker with the 8th. How about Camilo Doval in the 9th? Strikes out the side around a walk and the infield hit to Dubon, and then there's a wild pitch, and it's high drama, and Jose Abreu's up. But he Ks Abreu to get out of the jam and in the inning. So Camilo Doval continues to be a little bit of a, moving forward back, trying to build some momentum off of the blown save and the Soto homer and the loss to the Yankees going back now a couple of weeks back, or a week and a couple of days back. Guess that was last Sunday. Man, time's flying, but that was a week ago yesterday. But Doval putting look, for whatever reason, and we've seen this from Doval in the past, there's just going to be runners on. Stuff's going to happen. It's either going to be, weak contact or a walk or a wild pitch. But the great closers are able to work through that stuff. And tonight, Doval was able to work through it. And it was strikeout Alvarez right away. Impressive. The walk to Pena, then strikeout Myers. Boom. Dubon, the infield hit. Meant Jose Abreu was going to get a shot. But after the wild pitch that put runners at second and third, you got Pena at third, you got Dubon at second. Base hit there, probably 2 runs. And he gets Abreu. So, yeah, the bullpen, which pitched very well in Arlington, pitching well tonight with maybe the exception of Eric Miller. But the key to the extra innings and the automatic runners and all of that is to not let a team put up a massive number. And, 2, you still feel like you're in the game. And so the Giants able to get through that, and a nice job to finish off the 10th inning to where you've at least got the tying run coming to the plate. And Randy Rodriguez. Miller was battling, giving up hits, gives up the automatic runner, gives up another run, and then Randy Rodriguez comes in, throws a couple of pitches, bang, bang, inning over, and gives the Giants a shot. And, man, what a wild – I know the guys were talking about it on the postgame wrap, but what a wild bottom of the 10th. And Wisley with the hit, Ramos reaching on an error that really wasn't an error and later was changed to a hit. So Wisley singles in Casey Schmidt. Then you got Ramos on base immediately. Couple of guys on, first and second there. Bailey singles in Wisley to tie it. And then you've got Conforto singling off the pitcher on what looked off the bat like it was going to be a tailor-made double play ball. And who knows? They may still be playing. But it is just chaos everywhere. Chaos everywhere with these automatic runners and unique situations. And you've got, teams playing for big innings. Tonight, the Astros didn't do that. For everybody that always calls in, hey, why don't you bunt? Why don't you bunt? Well, the Astros they were doing nothing but bunting there in that top of the 10th inning. But, yeah, big time from Wisley, big time from Bailey. Ramos hit the ball hard. Conforto hit the ball hard. Pitcher couldn't handle it. And Austin Slater, one for the haters and those that had been frustrated that he was still on the Giants roster. He's been a clutch hitter for them, though, and he did it against the righty. Playing and pinch hitting because of the lefty, but then ends up still in the game against the righty and sends everybody home happy tonight. What a night. Thrilling night. 808 KNBR if you want to join the conversation. Let's get to Larry next year on the Sports Leader. Hey, Larry.
I think Rob Manfred is the greatest danger to baseball since Abner Doubleday was in the first day battle of Gettysburg.
So what do you not like about Manfred? What do you not like about Manfred? I know nobody likes anything really about Manfred, but what do you not like about Manfred?
The infernal runner at second base in the 10th inning, I grant you, was an invention of COVID to make, there wasn't anybody in the stands and you wanted to make the games go quicker. Okay, great. That doesn't exist anymore. I think it's an abomination to the game. I think it changes everything. And I've waited 2 years for this game because I wanted to find, it's not been very many exciting games because of the designated runner, but this was an exciting and interesting game. And so I've waited for this game to complain about that runner because it's artificial. It makes it, it doesn't need to be there anymore because there's no COVID anymore. And just another thing, why does the National League have the designated hitter? Because of Manfred. And of course, I hate the designated hitter in both leagues.
Well, look, I hear you, Larry. I enjoyed, things change. I enjoyed the National League having the pitcher hitting as well. I didn't like the automatic runner. I was for that going away post-COVID. So I'm kind of aligned with you on a couple of these things. But, they wanted to go to the balanced schedule. And that's that's why they added the designated hitter as well. They wanted to keep the rules the same for everybody because everybody was going to be playing everybody every single year, and every other year you're going to play at every other park, and they just wanted to flatten it out and try and add more hitting. The irony is, with the way they've sped the game up, they've actually it's led to less offense, which is also interesting in some ways. And we can get into the correlation and causation and all of those different things. But
well, that is something else. That clock, it's just me personally, I realize it's my problem, but watching that clock, when I sat in the outfield and I watched that clock, it just eats at me a little bit.
You know what's funny? I don't even watch it. I don't even do you actually see it? And maybe I'm just in a weird spot where I can kind of tune it out. Like I can count the times on one hand that I happen to notice it during a game. And I'm never paying attention to it. If there's ever a violation, that's really the only time when the ump will maybe say, hey, there's a violation, or there'll be an announcement there was a violation. It's interesting because
there was almost a violation tonight. Which would have been ball 3.
Yes, to Soler.
Yeah, and this is artificial. The great thing about baseball is it was timeless. All the other games have a clock. Baseball didn't. This guy it's like he's doing everything he can to destroy traditional baseball.
Well, yeah, and look, it's about ratings, it's about interest, it's about younger viewers, and look, they've done a lot of research as to the things that they want to do to try to make the game more appealing. And fit it into different broadcast windows. Do you like the faster games, Larry? Let me finish up with that one. Do you like the faster games, even though you need a clock to get to that point?
Well, I don't. I tend to be a tradition. I don't mind a 3-inning game, or a 3-hour game, or even longer. But I will concede that most people want it to move faster. You could do other things than put such pressure on the pitchers, and you got to admit, some pitchers don't pitch as well as they used to without the clock. And I understand that, putting all of that into the minor leagues, oh my God, can we talk about artificial umpires in the minor leagues?
Well, that's coming soon. I think that's coming to the majors here in the next few years. I mean, we'll see how they're going to do it. I think the umps are still going to be physically on the field, but I think that the strike zone is coming. I think the automated, and the ump may still make the call based on what the laser says it is, or however the heck they do it, or camera or sensor or however they do it. But I think that one's coming, my man.
It makes me wish for Bowie Kuhn. It really does.
All right, Larry, thanks a lot. Have a good night.
Yeah.
All right, 808 KNBR. We'll go ahead and take a break here. I thought Larry would like the faster games because usually the OGs like because the games were faster, back in the day. It was like, oh, remember when so-and-so pitched? And I think games were the fastest that they've been average time. And I want to say like since the early 80s, this past year. And I think they're even a little bit faster this year. So I would have thought people would have, I would have thought some of the old heads would like the faster game, even if you need the pitch clock to get to that point. But yeah, the offense is what's interesting about it. I don't, unintended consequence of the pitch clock potentially is the lack of offense. But let's get one more. Corey in San Francisco before we take another break here. 808 KNBR, 415-808-5627. Hey, Corey, you're on the Sports Leader.
Hey, how's it going?
Doing well, man. You wanted to weigh in on the automatic runner?
Yeah. Just I have kind of a talking point that I bring up when I end up having this conversation with my friends, and kind of the best way to sum it up for myself, the reason why I don't like it is why should the guy who ended the last inning be awarded with a leadoff double in the next inning?
Okay, that's fair.
Like, to me, that's kind of that sums it up. Like, oh, you struck out with the bases loaded, and then the next inning, because it's extras, you get rewarded with a leadoff double, and that's just...
Although you don't get that in your stats, you don't get a double in. You don't get a double in. Casey Schmidt would have loved to have that double added to his numbers.
Oh yeah, it's not going to help your contract or anything, but it's just it's a weird way to put someone ahead who failed the last inning.
No doubt. It's the only way you can do it. Although I'm with you, it's weird, right? It is the only way you can do it though, based on the batting order and everything, and assuring that the player is able to take their at bat when they.
Well, one last thing about it's kind of an odd take that I kind of stand by that I've had for a few years is I think that normalizing the floating strike zone graphic on television has kind of done a lot to hurt the spirit of umpiring and kind of the spirited arguments that you have at home with your friends and all that. Everyone's an umpire suddenly because there's a graphic over the plate. Like, it used to actually train people to focus and form opinions based on what they actually saw.
Yeah, look, that's another good take, Corey. I don't think you're crazy there, but now the opinion is that there's too many missed calls, right? Because you see every missed call and and there's all and you can see like you said, the trajectory of every pitch to whether it actually crossed the plate in the zone or not. And so I think that one's coming for sure.
Oh, I know. I appreciate a level of fallibility because I'm no expert, so it's nice to just see where that line gets blurred between me and the experts,
Everybody's got a different thing that they like or dislike about it. No, I think you bring up a couple interesting takes, Corey. Good. You're a thinking man here at 11:20 on a Monday night.
Yeah, I'm a bartender. Night owl.
Nice. All right. Appreciate it, Corey. Have a good night, my man.
Thanks a lot, man. You too.
All right. 808 KNBR. Corey in San Francisco. Yeah, I wasn't in favor of the automatic runner. I wasn't in favor of the DH in both leagues. I know I'm sounding like an old head, but I mean, the times evolve, and the DH thing was always coming, and I think the strike zone thing is coming. As far as the bases being a little bit bigger and the pitch clock, I think the games are actually a little too fast. I think they have overcompensated. Now, I think they love the fact that most games can be in like a 2.5 hour window as opposed to a 3 hour window. And I think the average last year was something around 240. I haven't seen what the average to this point this season is across Major League Baseball, but it went from over 3 to under, right around 240. And, maybe because the Giants have some nights where they're offensively challenged, their games tend to go a little bit quicker than some other teams. But I mean, man, you look at it and a lot of these games are 220, 215, 220. And most teams are starting games before 7. So it's 6:45 and a game's going 220. All of a sudden you look up, it's 9:05, the game's over. Or it's 9:15. And that's the path that this game tonight was on, had it not gone extra innings. And, even then, still wound up, you play 10 innings and they don't want those games now running long. So we don't have to do the whole debate thing as to whether you love it or you hate it as far as the automatic runner and all of that. It does make it more entertaining. It does protect the bullpen, and it is fascinating to see what teams do with the visiting team up first and the home team last, and the visiting team going for a big inning and the home team able to cash that runner in if they can prevent the visitors from getting on the board. So no, it is interesting stuff. All right. 808 KNBR 415-808-5627. Let's go ahead and pause here. We'll hear from Bob Melvin. Hopefully maybe from Kyle Harrison and Austin Slater as well. We shall see as we continue on into the night. Giants beat the Astros 4-3 in 10 innings. You heard it all right here. KNBR 104.5 and 680, the sports leader.
Sound off on the sports leader. Sports phone KNBR keeps rolling right here and on the all-new KNBR app.
Here's the pitch. Wisley hits one up the middle, base hit. Schmidt's going to come in to score. Wisley safe at first. He'll stop there. It's 3-2. That didn't take long. So the automatic runner is in, and now you get Wisley as the tying run aboard with nobody out.
Yeah, just like starting an inning, down a run, leadoff hitter aboard, you go from there, and the Giants kept the line moving in that bottom of the 10th. Brett Wisley, he's been huge. Not only playing a quality shortstop, but coming up with big hits, and he came up with the one that kept everything rolling there. You know, you get that first hit, Schmidt comes in, and you got action right away. One-run game, Wisley on, best hitter of late coming up, especially with Matt Chapman out and Elliot Ramos. He ends up reaching base himself, Patrick Bailey with the single, and the Giants get the job done. 3-run bottom of the 10th inning to rally from 3-1 down. In the 10th, they get the win 4-3. The final, it's John Dickinson back here in the bunker at Oracle Park as the Giants get back to within a game of the 500 mark at 33-34. Game 2 of the 3-game series tomorrow. Jordan Hicks on the mound for San Francisco. Logan Webb on the mound Wednesday afternoon in the series finale before the off day Thursday, and then the Giants take on the Angels over the weekend here at Oracle Park. Let's go ahead and hear a little bit from the skipper of the Giants, Bob Melvin, following this ball game on the comeback and Kyle Harrison's performance tonight in the Giants' victory.
What was the dugout like just watching him have that moment?
Yeah, that was huge. I mean, it's been, like you said, it's been a little uneven from the very beginning with the injuries and a little bit of a struggle to start and, you know, not getting a ton of playing time and then come up in a situation like that where, you know, typically he's playing against lefties and knows he has to get a ball in the air. And it's, you know, with Bailey at third, it's not, you know, not our fastest runner, but a pretty good charge into that one. So pretty rewarding for him for all the hard work.
Hey, Bob, I know you had to go to your bullpen a little late, but Harrison giving you 6 1/3. He's had a chance now to go deep in successive starts. He talked about that being a concentrated effort for him. What have you seen from him lately, and especially the starting staff trying to make up innings when they've been hurt a little bit?
Yeah, look, I mean, man, the last thing we want him to think about is having to do things differently to get deep in games. But I mean, this has been as good, as efficient as he's been all year at this point in time. Now, you know, Alvarez gets the double, he ends up giving up a run right there, but, you know, it was an easy decision to let him go back out for the 7th. I don't know how many times he's done that in his career. But, you know, as it turned out, we needed that. And I think pretty good understanding of on a particular day what he needs to do. But this was just his best stuff we've seen in a while today. Fastball was playing, had better ride to it. His breaking stuff he had really good control of. Didn't walk anybody, I don't think. So this just really good stuff he had today, and on top of it was efficient.
Slater had the big moment to end it, but you hit Slater for Yastrzemski earlier, even though Yastrzemski's had some success against Hader. Why was that easy matchups?
Yeah, it's tough for a lefty off Hader.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's had a home run off earlier in his career off of him, but, you know, leading off in inning 2, it's a walk. It's a little more speed. You know, Yaz has the only RBI of the game, but Hader's really a tough at bat for a lefty.
And Ramos kind of froze at third. What happened there?
Yeah, he just froze. Yeah. I mean, he just told me, you know, my fault. So whether it looked foul or, you know, sometimes you lose it for a minute.
Yeah, and Elliot Ramos did there in the bottom of the 10th. A couple of things there at the end, and John Shea of the Chronicle with the questions there that I think would have been a big part of the discussion had the Giants not won this game, had Austin Slater not come through, had maybe there been a couple of plays made by the Astros in the bottom of the 10th inning, and the Giants end up losing 3-1 or 3-2 or go on to lose later. And if Slater doesn't come through, it's, why are you hitting Slater, even though that's why Slater's on the team, pinch hitting against tough lefties. But, with what Yastrzemski had done against the righty, taking him to the 415 mark, going back to the only RBI of the game, and then Slater hits for Yaz. Again, in terms of the left-right matchup and always playing the matchups and the like, I mean, that is an understandable call, but something that won't now be focused on as much with the Giants winning the game and with Slater obviously coming through and ends up coming through against the righty. And then, Elliot Ramos in the 10th, what could have been a disastrous play on the ground ball that Soler hit to first, and Ramos doesn't run home, and Bailey kept going to third, which at one point it was almost, you're worried about Bailey getting confused and getting himself hung up to where it turns into multiple outs and you end up running yourself out of an inning at that point. So Bailey, thankfully for the Giants, he just went to third and took his spot, and obviously Ramos was out at the plate when the throw from Abreu came down, and it was just, one out. Soler didn't get the job done. Everybody moves up, and the bases are loaded for Slater, and Slater pumped one off the wall to end the night. But, some potential for second-guessing and base-running disaster. But, just a mistake there from Ramos. But Slater wiped it all away with the big hit that he got to win the game for the Giants. And, Kyle Harrison, best stuff, efficient, getting it done, best start of the year, without a doubt, for Kyle Harrison in this one. 808 KNBR. Do we have Arthur on the phones? Let's get Arthur here down in L.A. On the Sports Leader. What's going on tonight, Arthur? How are you, my friend?
Pretty good, John. Nice having me on right after the skipper. And I want to know, how was your weekend? How are you?
I'm doing well, man. I had a kind of a low-key weekend. The Giants were on the road, so I wasn't at the ballpark. There wasn't really anything going on hosting-wise, so I actually got to enjoy a weekend, Arthur. It doesn't always work that way because I get to enjoy covering games and talking to the people, which is a beautiful thing in its own right. But it was a rare, hey, JD gets Saturday and Sunday off. Doesn't happen a lot, Arthur, but I enjoyed it. Didn't do anything. Hung out around town and just relaxed.
Yes, I was listening at John, and I called to say, well, thank you, Larry, for those comments. Oh, this was a dumb, stupid rules about the extra inning automatic runner. Some man has uploaded a YouTube channel. I don't know if you saw it about. It's dumb and stupid. He said there's a lot of little intricacies that goes on within a baseball game that some casual fans don't understand. You may have a point, but you don't want to see no pitch clock violation in the seventh game of a World Series.
Oh my!
Or nothing. No, because you want to see things played out the old-fashioned way. And virtually, that's all I had to say tonight. And Kyle Harrison, his next start, I think, is Saturday. That should be against the Angels. That should be a great game. I may head up to a game. May head up to JD probably next month. I'm gonna see how I am financial-wise.
Okay.
But, nice talking to you, buddy.
Say, Arthur, you let me know, man. You when you figure out a game, hopefully it's a game where I'm going to be around as well, and I'd love to come say hi to you, my friend. I appreciate you calling in. I appreciate your knowledge, and I appreciate you putting up with being a Giants fan down in L.A. All right, Arthur. Thanks, man. Appreciate it, Arthur. One of my faves. Here on the Sports Leader. Let's go ahead and hear a little bit more from the clubhouse tonight as the Giants get the win. We heard from Bob Melvin and Arthur mentioning Harrison. Harrison's next start probably Sunday. The Giants do have an off day on Thursday, and we'll see what ultimately they do, but they have been giving Hicks and Harrison the extra day when they've had off days and just cobbled together. Keaton Wynn got the start yesterday. Spencer Howard got the start on Saturday, and Howard's been out there as well. There's been some Eric Miller opener games. And by the way, I got a text before we get to Harrison, and I did want to read it. Somebody take an exception. I won't read it since it's kind of down the board here, but take an exception to me saying Miller didn't pitch well. You know what? I'm gonna mea culpa that. You're right. And the texter explained, there were a couple of bunts, and it was just kind of a weird inning. He's got the runner on second, and you know what? He did pitch better than I probably gave him credit for. I don't think there's any doubt. In kind of looking through the notes, there's a lot going on in that 10th inning there, and yeah, it was a bunt. Couple of bunt hits, the sacrifice fly. And he was throwing a lot of pitches, and obviously Melvin, ended up getting him out, and Randy Rodriguez came in there for the final out. But he did get Alvarez, who could have put a big number up on the board if Alvarez had done something. So he got him to fly out. And like you said, Altuve with the bunts, and Bregman hit one up the middle for a hit that was a legit hit and brought in that second run. But no, Eric Miller did not pitch poorly overall when you look at the contact rate and all of that. And yeah, the at bat that Caratini put on him, which was a hell of an at bat and a battle both ways. Nothing crazy. Either way. So, yeah, no, nod to Eric Miller. Eric Miller did pitch better than I had originally, I think, given him credit for. Now, in comparison to the rest of the bullpen, Jelly, who got out of the 7th inning for Harrison, you look at Doval pitching the 9th inning as well, and Ryan Walker. He didn't pitch as well as those guys because he did give up a couple of runs, and the automatic runner's a part of that. But definitely pitched better, I think, than I gave him credit for earlier on. So want to make sure to correct the record as far as that goes. All right, let's hear a little bit more from the clubhouse postgame. And next up is the starting pitcher that went into the 7th inning. Best outing in my mind of the season, Kyle Harrison, and he met with the media in the Giants clubhouse.
Yeah, definitely some good stuff. I think the slider, changeup, fastball, I was able to kind of put it where I wanted today. Efficient. So those are the ones you look back on and you want to build on. And, try to repeat that as many times as possible.
You were pretty happy with the bullpen session you had recently. What did you find that helped you?
Yeah, just kind of getting away from my mechanics, I think. Just you get in the everyday process and you kind of lose some things. And I think that, going back to some things that I did well in the past and really looking at film and really just hammering down that front side and that glove movement. It's something I really worked hard on my last bullpens and translated today and even felt it in the last Arizona game. So something to build on.
You talked about making a concentrated effort trying to go deeper into games. Noticed your velo was a little up from average. Do you feel like you had to keep anything in the tank, especially when you knew that you were going after the 7th inning?
No, not anymore. That's when you can kind of let it go. But I think every inning's a battle. That's kind of what I've learned here. And you can't come out flat. You got to come out competing and throwing strikes and pounding the zone. And did that today.
All right, Kyle Harrison. Nice effort from him in this one. Doesn't get the win, but gave the Giants a chance to get the win, up 1-0 into the 7th. Leaves with the game tied at 1-1, and the Giants able to rally with the wild 10th inning comeback there with the 3 runs in the bottom of the 10th to get the victory. And as we've talked about a lot, Kyle Harrison, something to build on. And one of the better, if not the best, outings for him on the season. So we'll see if he can build on it over the weekend coming up against the Angels. All right, 808 KNBR, still time to sneak in a couple of calls. We'll pause here. We'll come back. We'll hear a couple of quick, short segments from the Giants clubhouse from Brett Wisley and Austin Slater, the man who got the game-winning hit as the Giants beat the Astros 4-3. You heard it right here, KNBR 104.5 and 680, the sports leader.
Speak your mind on the sports leader. Sports phone KNBR keeps coming at you. Streaming live at twitch.tv/the sports leader.
He's been great. Now a liner to right. Coming in, Yastrzemski dives and he catches it. What a play, Mike Yastrzemski. Man, he totally robbed John Singleton of a base hit. And almost certainly extra bases. What a catch.
Yeah, defensive play of the night from Mike Yastrzemski. He had the hit of the night up until that point. That came in the top of the eighth. Dave Fleming on the call there. And maybe this thing goes in a different direction for the Giants if that ball ends up falling in or getting past Yastrzemski there in that eighth inning. We could be having a whole different conversation, but the Giants do get the out in that situation, and they do go on to win 4-3 in 10 innings with the 3-run 10th inning rally. Back here in the bunker, one final segment here on a Monday night. Back tomorrow right here on KNBR and at Oracle Park as the Giants and the Astros set to play Game 2 of their 3-game series. Jordan Hicks on the mound for San Francisco. We talked about Logan Webb will be out there on Wednesday afternoon, and another shot for the Giants to get back to 500. Continuing to ride that wave of a couple of games over, and then they were 6 under, and then they were 2 over, and then they were 4 under, and now they're almost all the way back here from 4 under to with this 4-1 stretch, winning 4 of the last 5, back to within a game of 500. So, yeah, you think about it, it could be it has been a yo-yo. It has been a roller coaster. And I've said it a lot here the last week, and I'll continue to say it all season long. The Giants are good. Like, this is what the Giants have been here this last month. I do think for the most part is what they're going to be. I don't think they're going to be bad enough to completely fall off the map to where you say they're not in the race. Like, they're going to be in the race. They may be in the race with 5 or 6 teams, but they're going to be in the race. Are they going to be great enough to separate? We'll find out. I think a lot of that, though, is going to be contingent on getting a couple of their hitters back and figuring it out, the best group of, starters and what that outfield combination looks like. And once you get everybody closer to healthy, obviously you're not going to have Jung-Hoo Lee back, but you're going to get Wade back, and then that's going to change Flores' role. And then you got to figure out what you're going to do at DH if Soler's continuing to struggle, and Ramos is an everyday guy now. So you've got him playing center, which, by the way, has been big. Ramos' ability to play center field has been huge, and he's shown that he can do it. So you can leave Conforto alone in left. You can leave Yaz alone in right for the most part, which is what I think the Giants would prefer to do, and was part of the reason why they went and got Jung-Hoo Lee, was to know that he was just going to be the guy that was going to play center field on a day in, day out basis. So you look at it and, what happens with Wisley? What do they do at shortstop? All of these things, does it get to a point where you get a shortstop and then maybe Wisley and Estrada share some time here and there, or Wisley, Estrada, and another player that's in the mix in the middle infield share some time there? There's options, and you need depth to get through 162. And I think the Giants are confident that as they get closer to whole, they will have enough depth to where they can make some runs here at different points when other teams may not have that depth, and that's where you can separate a little bit from the pack. All right, before we call it a night, let's hear a couple of minutes of Patrick Bailey, who joined the guys here post-game right after the win with Dave on the post-game. And so good stuff there, and let's go ahead and hear that interview.
And, man, what a game. And I think Patrick's got the headset on. Can you hear us down there, Patrick?
Yeah, how you guys doing?
Yeah, we're good. What a crazy 10th inning. Not just the bottom of the 10th, but the top of the 10th too, huh?
Yeah, that was a wild one.
I mean, the Astros decided they wanted to bunt you to death to get those couple runs.
For sure. They laid some good ones down. Played good baseball.
They did, and then you guys answered back. This team's starting to build a little something, aren't they?
For sure. We've been playing better late. Just got to show up every day and be consistent and play well.
Yeah, the consistency, I think, has started to come through. And for Austin Slater, I know, for so many of your teammates, Patrick, this has been a weird year of injuries and missing some time and not getting a rhythm. And I think Slater falls in that category. What a big moment for him.
Yeah, that was huge. We needed that knock, and he's such a good at-bat every time he's up there, no matter where we're at in the game, and obviously to do it off a righty is pretty cool for him too.
Yeah, he doesn't get many of those chances. How about your pitching tonight, Patrick? Let's start with the starter, Kyle Harrison. What'd you think of him?
Yeah, this is the best we've seen him so far. Fastball command was good. The breaking ball was the best it's been all year. The changeups, I feel like that's been the best pitch besides the heater so far. But yeah, I feel like this was the first time he's really had all 3 pitches, and I feel like really dominated one of the best lineups in baseball right now. So I feel like last start against Arizona and this start here, he's been looking really, really good.
Yeah, I won't make you go down all the pitchers tonight, but I thought Sean Jelly, he only threw 4 pitches, but that was a big couple of outs he got. He's really come into his own, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's been unbelievable. No matter what role we need him in, he's been nails, and just gotta keep it rolling.
All the kids want your autograph. I'll let you go sign a few.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thanks, Patrick.
Good stuff there from Dave Fleming and Patrick Bailey right after the Giants completed the comeback and earned themselves the 4-3 win over the Astros to take the opener of this series and win for the fourth time in the last 5 games as the roller coaster ride that is the 2024 Giants continues. All right, that's going to do it for me. We will reconvene tomorrow right back here in the bunker at Oracle Park as the Giants and the Astros will play Game 2 of this 3-game series. Sports Phone KNBR coming your way. Then I want to thank Kyle Haar and Cole Lepelt back in our San Francisco studios. Excellent work cutting up the highlights, cutting up a lot of the post-game sound that you've heard here over the last 2 hours. Appreciate everybody who called in. Those of you watching on YouTube and Twitch here late on a Monday night, thank you very much. That is appreciated. And the texters on the Golden State Lumber and Building Materials text line as well. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Giants get the win in 10, 4-3, the final over the Astros. The midnight replay, it's coming up. KNBR 104.5 and 680, the sports leader.